Hey there, welcome to Jimmy's Records and Tapes. I'm Jimmy Pardo. This week we're talking about my top 5 favorite political and or protest songs.
We've got it on vinyl, CD and cassette.
We've got pop, rock, heavy metal, punk, funk, rap, and new wave. All sales are vinyl, but you never regret all the music you get at Jimmy's Records and Tapes.
Hey everybody, welcome to Jimmy's Records and Tapes. I'm Jimmy. These are records, these are tapes. No CDs here, man. That's not our bag. The protest song is interesting to me because admittedly, I'm a guy that can never be in the service. And I thank the troops and the ladies and gentlemen that do fight for this great country. I was in the KISS Army for a little while. Admittedly, I had to leave that too. I was willing to rock and roll all night. I was not willing to party every day. In fact, I'm AWOL. Right now there's a 57-year-old man dressed like a kitty cat roaming the streets looking for me. I hear him calling. Can't come home right now. Here are my five favorite political/protest songs. Coming in at number 5, right from the Woodstock era, from Country Joe and the Fish. It's I Feel Like I'm Fixin' to Die Rag. This very prominent in the movie Woodstock, which there was a time in my life where I would watch that every New Year's Eve. I don't quite understand why. I think it's because it was on just regular, network television at 1 in the morning. You count it down at midnight, and then, of course, you want to relive Woodstock before you bring in the new year. At least the rising sun of the new year. So that is number 5, Country Joe and the Fish, I Feel Like I'm Fixin' to Die Rag. At number 4, this comes from Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, 1970, Ohio. It was written by Neil Young as a reaction to the Kent State shootings. Obviously a horrible incident that Neil said, I could put that to music and make a couple of bucks. By the way, I love Neil Young. I just said that for humor. I met him once briefly, and he couldn't have been a nicer man. So that is number 4, Ohio, by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Number 3 comes to us from CCR. That stands for Credence Clearwater Revival. In case you don't know what CCR stands for, if you don't know my shorthand that I like to... I'm in the business, man. I got a record store. I'm going to be saying stuff like that. Like BS, that's Black Sabbath, right? That's something that's never been said. This is written by John Fogerty, came out in 1969. Number 3 is Fortunate Son. Fortunate Son, which is a song about the rich starting wars and then making the poor people fight it. Again, very familiar imagery is always Vietnam, but really any war it could fit in here. And this is a classic that stands up to this day. Number 3, Fortunate Son, written by John Fogerty, CCR. As I've already told you, that's Creedence Clearwater Revival. Number 2 comes to us a song written by Robert Lamm and in 1972 in the band Chicago, recorded and released Dialogue Part 1 and 2. This is an interesting song. This is it is exactly as the title says. It's a dialogue. It's a conversation about two guys talking about what's going on in the world at the time. Again, Vietnam, starvation, repression. And one guy is very concerned about it, and the other one, hey, it is what it is, man. We'll get by. Everything's cool. And by the end of the song, while they agree they have opposing views, they thank each other for the conversation. Then Dialogue Part 2 kicks in, and it's a chant and an instrumental jam, and it ends with, we can make it happen, yeah, we can. And it's very moving. And when you think again about the Vietnam War or any war, and you think about what the troops are doing and what the soldiers are going through and how they're hoping for change, we can change the world now, yeah, we can make it happen. A pretty impactful song that kind of gets lost because Chicago is so often thought of as a ballad band, and this is a real heavy, a statement song. Number 1 comes to us a song written by Stephen Stills, who I had the pleasure of not meeting once, but being near once at a golf course. Way back in the early aughts, I had 2 television shows on the air, one on Game Show Network, one on AMC, and boy, they would battle my contract. Oh, they battled that thing out, but that's beside the point. I was invited at the last minute to participate in the PGA Riviera, the golf tournament at the Riviera Country Club here in Los Angeles. The PGA event, as part of the Pro-Am, and where PGA pros played, and they would get celebrities. And I guess somebody dropped out at the last second, so they called me to be the celebrity in a foursome. And I get there, and I'm in the locker room, and I'm getting ready. My buddy Mike Siegel was kind enough to be my caddy that day so that I didn't have to kind of do it alone. And I'm in the locker room, and I'm putting my shoes on, and I'm getting ready to go out and golf. And the locker, they're dividing me from the other side. You know, lockers are back to back. On the other side is a conversation of people asking what celebrity they got. And some people are like, who'd you get? Oh, we got Arty Johnson. Who'd you get? We got Martin Sheen. Who'd you get? We got Steven Stills. Who'd you get? I don't know, some game show host called Jimmy Pardo. And now I got to meet him on the first tee and pretend I didn't hear that. I'm not that great of a golfer to begin with. And I'm not that big of a celebrity. So I'm not checking any boxes in this thing. I stunk. And the guys I was paired with had won like the previous 2 years. And we did not win the year that I was a celebrity. In fact, we lost, I want to say, by 1 stroke. And I blame myself. And of course, a little bit I blame society. Anyway, Steven Stills wrote this song. Buffalo Springfield recorded it. It is called For What It's Worth, which is my favorite political/protest song. In fact, it's probably my top 5 favorite songs of all time. And very often it's thought of as a song that was speaking out against Vietnam, when in reality, it was a song written about in 1966. The Sunset Strip here in Hollywood started getting really popping. It was hopping and popping. And so the local residents didn't really care for all of the hippies, man, and their bell bottoms and their beads roaming the streets. So they complained, and they then set a curfew. And the young people didn't care for that, so they pushed back. And they were peaceful protests at first. And then they got a little bit, obviously, some violence, sadly. And Steven Stills saw all of this from the whiskey and wrote this song about what he saw on the Sunset Strip. So again, my number 1 favorite political/protest song is For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. Hey everybody, it's time for this week's Jimmy's Choice. What does that mean? Well, not unlike the great movie Sophie's Choice, where the wonderful actress Meryl Streep has to choose between one of her children, who lives, who dies. I will receive via Twitter at Jimmy Pardo 2 bands, and you have to make me choose which one would I go with in an ultimate cage match. I don't see who they are until they pop up on the screen. I will then decide on the spot who I choose out of those 2 bands. And you could send these in to me at Jimmy Pardo and see if yours shows up on a future episode. This week's comes to us from M. Cathison, at M. Cathison, and he wants to know Ted Nugent or Meatloaf. All right, here's the thing. They're both nuts, right? At least they I don't know if they always were, but boy, in 2020, they're both kind of Looney Tune, aren't they? One wants to shoot everything with a bow and arrow, and the other one just kind of is a recluse. But when it comes musically, Nugent is one that's tough for me to separate artists from the art. Although I will say that, man, Stranglehold is a great song. How great is the song Stranglehold? Oh, my good Lord, is it great. Right? It's probably my top 10 favorite songs of all time. If only it was recorded by anybody else in the world, except for Gary Glitter. That would have been horrible, too. So I'm probably going to go with Meatloaf. I think his overall catalog I enjoy more. It hits Jimmy Pardo Theater Geek. So I'm going to go with those Steinman songs. So between Ted Nugent and Meatloaf, Jimmy's Choice, Meatloaf. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me here on Jimmy's Records and Tapes today. If you liked it, click the like button, subscribe, tell your friends about it, spread the word about Jimmy's Records and Tapes. We're open for business. Also, you can follow me, as I mentioned, at Jimmy Pardo on Twitter. I also host the award-winning podcast, Never Not Funny. So if you like what you hear here, you want to hear a lot more of that, come and join us over there. Until then, we'll see you next time on Jimmy's Records and Tapes. The record is back in the sleeve.